When the Texas power grid collapsed in 2021, millions sat in frozen homes, wrapped in blankets, burning furniture for warmth. There was no heat, no communication, and worse, no way to buy the things they needed to survive. Within hours, basic supplies disappeared. Candles were sold out. The batteries were gone. People were even fighting over bottled water and duct tape. And that's the cold truth. Blackouts don't wait for permission. They hit hard. They hit fast. And they expose every weak point you never thought you had. But what's scarier isn't the darkness. It's what people forget in the light. Because right now, while the grid is working and store shelves look full, there are 10 ordinary items sitting quietly in your home that will become 10 times more valuable in the next blackout. Not because they're fancy, but because no one stocks enough of them until they're already gone. And once the shelves are empty, you'll have two choices: pay 10x the price or go without. Number 1, fabric softener sheets. In a blackout, the things we reach for first are obvious: flashlights, canned food, bottled water. But some of the most useful survival tools are hiding in plain sight, like those innocent-looking fabric softener sheets sitting in your laundry room. Sounds crazy? Not when you realize how versatile and powerful they really are when the lights go out. These dryer sheets aren't just for making your clothes smell good. In a power outage, they can help repel mosquitoes and flies, especially when windows are open for airflow. Just rubbing them along door frames, windowsills, or even tucking them into pockets can create a scent barrier that bugs hate. In summer blackouts, when air conditioning is gone and you're forced to keep windows cracked, this cheap trick becomes a lifesaver. Another underrated use? Odor control. No electricity means no laundry, no running water, and probably no working toilet fan. Place fabric softener sheets in shoes, trash cans, or even under your pillow to mask unpleasant smells. It's a small thing, but in a survival situation, maintaining a sense of cleanliness and comfort can seriously boost morale. They're also great fire starters. Yes, fabric softener sheets are flammable, especially when paired with a bit of petroleum jelly. Roll one up, strike a match, and you've got yourself a reliable fire-starting solution perfect for emergencies where you need warmth or to cook without electricity. Worried about static cling while wearing synthetic base layers? Rubbing a dryer sheet over your clothes reduces friction and can even keep static shocks at bay when using battery-powered gear. Best of all, they're incredibly compact. A box of 100 sheets takes up almost no room in your emergency kit, but delivers value far beyond its price tag. So the next time you're stocking up on survival gear, don't skip the laundry aisle. Fabric softener sheets could be the cheapest, quietest, and most underrated tool in your blackout arsenal. Number 2, handheld bidet sprayers. When the power goes out, water pressure usually follows. And when both are gone, there's one thing no one wants to talk about, but everyone suffers from: hygiene, especially in the bathroom. Imagine going days without properly cleaning yourself after using the toilet. Now imagine trying to do that while rationing toilet paper and water. Sounds uncomfortable? That's the reality of most long-term blackouts. But here's where a $15 survival upgrade changes everything. Handheld bidet sprayers, yes, the same ones used in millions of homes globally, become a sanity-saving tool when the grid collapses. These sprayers are usually installed beside toilets and work by manually squeezing water to clean yourself. And guess what? They don't need electricity, just a little stored water pressure, or even a gravity-fed setup, and they're good to go. In a prolonged blackout, toilet paper becomes more than scarce, it becomes survival currency. People hoard it, panic buy it, and in many cases run out. But with a bidet sprayer, even a single gallon of water can last multiple uses. No waste, no clogging, and most importantly, no desperate search through empty store shelves. These sprayers also help reduce bacterial spread. When sanitation systems are down and people are confined indoors, one case of infection can spread fast. But proper hygiene with pressurized water, that alone can help stop outbreaks before they start. It's not glamorous, but it's smart. They're also helpful for cleaning cloth diapers, reusable rags, and even food prep surfaces when kitchen water lines are off. It's not just about staying clean, it's about staying functional when everything else breaks. And here's the kicker: most people overlook them. They assume it's just a luxury product, something extra. But in survival conditions, it becomes essential. Quiet, reusable, and compatible with buckets, tanks, and rainwater barrels, it works even when nothing else does. If you're building a real blackout survival plan, start with the things no one wants to think about. Because when comfort disappears, dignity follows. Hit subscribe if you want more real-world prepping that actually makes sense, and drop a comment if you've already got one of these installed. Number 3, silicone ice cube trays. Ice cubes during a blackout sounds like a joke until you realize how these soft, flexible trays might save you more than just a cold drink. In a crisis, it's not about luxury, it's about preservation, rationing, and staying one step ahead when the grid disappears. Silicone ice cube trays aren't just for frozen water anymore. They're survival tools disguised as kitchen accessories. Why? Because in an extended power outage, every drop of usable liquid counts. These trays allow you to freeze and ration critical items in exact portions. We're talking about broth, cooking oil, milk, even leftover soup or stew. When refrigeration is gone, and you're using a cooler or backup freezer, pre-frozen cubes stretch your resources with surgical precision. Need to keep medications cool? A silicone tray can be your improvised cooling core. Fill it with purified water ahead of time, store the cubes in insulated packs, and now you've bought hours, maybe days of extra shelf life for meds that can't afford to spoil. And don't underestimate their value in makeshift refrigeration. During blackouts, people scramble for ice. Store-bought bags run out fast. But those with silicone trays already loaded in a freezer or solar-powered cooler, they're ahead of the curve. Even melted cubes can serve as drinking water in a pinch if filled with clean supply before the outage. They're also reusable, non-toxic, and nearly unbreakable, unlike plastic trays that snap under pressure. The soft silicone makes popping out frozen contents easy. No wasted effort, no tools, no waste. They're stackable, compact, dirt cheap, and versatile enough to become part of any smart prepping plan. And here's what most folks miss: these trays can be used even without freezing. Use them as portion organizers for dry goods, vitamins, or single-use condiments when space is tight and routines break down. When structure collapses, little things like this bring order back. Silicone trays may not look like much, but when your survival depends on portion control, storage, and adaptability, they become gold. Number 4. Stick-on LED motion lights. When the blackout hits and the house goes dark, your first instinct is to fumble for a flashlight. But what if you didn't have to? What if your home was already ready with light that sensed your every step? Stick-on LED motion lights are one of the most overlooked prepping tools out there. They're cheap, easy to install, and run on batteries. No wires, no power grid. Just light where you need it, when you need it most. Picture this. You're moving through your hallway at 2 a.m. during a total power outage. No power, no streetlights, and the family's still asleep. Instead of waking everyone up with a loud lantern or fumbling in the dark, these little LEDs quietly flicker on as you walk by. Silent, efficient, safe. In survival situations, especially during multi-day outages, preventing accidents is critical. Falls, stubbed toes, broken glass, all of it can be avoided with just a few well-placed lights. Stick them near stairs, bathroom doors, or food storage areas. You'll never again have to risk an injury just trying to find a flashlight. Plus, they're incredibly energy efficient. One set of AAA or AAA batteries can last weeks, and since they only turn on when triggered, there's no constant drain. Another bonus? These lights work great inside cabinets, sheds, or even inside bug-out bags. When it's dark and chaos hits, every second you save not searching matters. It's the small, smart upgrades that separate panic from preparedness. Stick-on motion lights won't just light your way, they'll protect your sanity when the grid fails. Number 5. Toothpaste tablets. When clean water runs low and the lights go out, the last thing on most people's minds is oral hygiene. But after 48 hours of no brushing, no rinsing, and no fresh breath, you'll realize just how fast discomfort sets in. That's where toothpaste tablets become a game changer. And you know, these tiny chewable tablets are more than just a trend. They're lightweight, compact, and designed for zero-waste hygiene even when water is scarce. Just chew, brush, and spit. No squeezing tubes, no messy caps, no cross-contamination. And best of all, you barely need any water to use them. In blackout or bug-out situations, every drop counts. Standard toothpaste requires rinsing, spitting into a sink, and often ends up wasting more water than you realize. But tablets? You can brush with a mouthful of bottled water or even with a damp cloth nearby. That's how flexible and portable they are. And storage? These things are built for it. Airtight jars or resealable pouches keep them fresh for months, sometimes even years. No drying out, no hardening, and no risk of leakage like traditional tubes. Whether you're storing in a closet or packing for an emergency bag, they're space-efficient and disaster-proof. They also cut down on waste. In a world where sanitation services might break down during a prolonged grid collapse, that matters. One tablet equals one use. Nothing to throw out, nothing to clean up. And here's the smart part. They're becoming more popular among preppers who understand that comfort is morale. When things fall apart, brushing your teeth can give you just enough normalcy to keep going. Toothpaste tablets aren't just for travelers anymore. They're for anyone serious about staying clean when the system breaks. Number 6. Twist ties. They're in your kitchen drawer, wrapped around bread bags, forgotten, ignored. But when the next blackout or supply disruption hits hard, those cheap little twist ties might suddenly become your new best friend. Why? Because in a crisis, organization and resource control become everything. Twist ties let you seal, bind, mark, hang, and organize with near zero effort. You're not going to run to the hardware store during an import collapse, but if you've got a stash of these, you're covered. Use them to reseal open food bags when your fridge isn't working. Keep air out, bugs away, and extend the life of dried goods like rice, flour, or lentils. Ziplocs wear out. Rubber bands snap. But twist ties? You can use the same one a dozen times, and that's just the start. If you're cooking with makeshift gear like solar ovens or camp stoves, you'll need to bundle utensils, hang gloves, or keep cables and matches organized. Twist ties let you do all that with zero waste. Need to rig up blackout curtains? Tie up a broken flashlight cord? Secure a makeshift clothesline? One 3-inch twist tie solves problems you didn't even know you had. And when your environment gets chaotic, controlling clutter becomes a survival skill, not a luxury. Here's what most people overlook. Twist ties weigh almost nothing. That means you can pack dozens into a single pocket, first aid kit, or bug-out bag without sacrificing any space. They're waterproof, flame-resistant, and reusable in ways tape or string just can't match. You're not buying a product, you're buying control in chaos. The most overlooked tools are often the most valuable when everything else stops working. Twist ties prove that survival isn't about what's expensive, it's about what's useful. Number 7, thermal curtains. When the power grid collapses, your windows become a weakness. Heat escapes in winter, sunlight pours in during summer, and suddenly your home is either freezing cold or unbearably hot. That's where thermal curtains quietly step in and make a massive difference. They might look like regular drapes, but thermal curtains are engineered to trap warmth during blackouts and block out heat when there's no AC. They're one of the simplest ways to regulate temperature in your home, no electricity required. So you hang thermal curtains. Within hours, you'll notice the room holds heat longer. The cold drafts are sealed. The trapped warmth? It becomes your buffer between survival and suffering. Now flip that scenario to summer. There's no fan, no breeze, and the heat's crawling in through every sunlit window. Thermal curtains with reflective backing bounce that heat right back out, keeping your living space cooler when every degree counts. That means less sweat, less dehydration, and better sleep in extreme conditions. But it's not just about comfort, it's about concealment too. In a prolonged outage, thermal curtains block interior light from leaking out at night. That means you stay hidden, private, off the radar. And if desperation is building outside, that layer of privacy becomes critical. They also insulate sound, making it harder for others to hear what's happening inside. Whether you're running a generator, having a quiet conversation, or simply trying to maintain peace, that sound barrier can buy you time and security. In a crisis, thermal curtains do more than hang pretty. They protect warmth, privacy, and peace of mind. Number 8, reusable plastic crates. Most people overlook them. They're stacked in storage rooms, holding groceries in trucks, or sitting forgotten in basements. But when a blackout strikes or supply chains snap, reusable plastic crates become one of the most underrated tools you can own. These aren't just for carrying soda bottles or produce. In a survival setting, they become your mobile storage system, instant furniture, makeshift shelving, and even weather-resistant carriers. Their rigid frames and open designs allow airflow critical when storing food, damp supplies, or emergency gear. Picture this. Your home is dark, the fridge is down, and you're trying to organize what little you have left. Instead of cardboard boxes that collapse or bags that tear, plastic crates let you sort everything by priority, type, or location. Water jugs, dry food, batteries, medical supplies, all visible, all accessible. Need to bug out fast? Crates can stack in your trunk without crushing contents. They slide, lock, and carry weight evenly, and when you arrive at your fallback location, they convert into shelving or seating without tools. That adaptability? Pure gold when time and energy are limited. And here's something most preppers miss: moisture. During long outages or floods, mold destroys supplies. But plastic crates don't absorb water like cardboard. They dry fast, resist mildew, and keep your backup gear breathable and raised off damp floors. You can even use them to build vertical systems, stacked crates to store canned goods, solar tools, or clothing by function. It's not just storage, it's structured in chaos. These crates are built for durability, And when everyone's scrambling for makeshift solutions, the guy with a stack of strong, reusable bins suddenly looks like a genius. Don't wait until your supplies are buried in clutter and chaos. Get organized now with gear that's ready for the long haul. Number 9. Fabric softener sheets. They smell nice, they reduce static, and most people think that's where their usefulness ends. But in a crisis or full-blown blackout, fabric softener sheets can become one of the smartest, multi-purpose tools in your home. Let's start with the obvious: hygiene and comfort. In a prolonged collapse, you won't have access to fresh laundry every other day. But sliding a fresh dryer sheet into your clothes bin, or between layers of packed garments, that keeps odor at bay and boosts morale. Because in chaos, feeling clean isn't just a luxury, it's psychological survival. But it gets more practical. Fabric softener sheets are incredible at repelling insects. Rub them on exposed skin or stuff. A few inside window cracks and tent seams, mosquitoes and gnats hate the scent. When your environment becomes still dark and humid, this small barrier becomes critical to avoid bites, discomfort, and possible infections. Have mice or rodents creeping in during colder months? Tuck a few sheets behind appliances, along baseboards, or in food storage corners. The strong fragrance is known to repel pests and protect dry goods from unwanted visitors. Got smelly boots, backpacks, or stored supplies? One sheet, one zip, and your gear smells fresh, not like mildew or sweat. And in a sealed bug-out bag or long-term bin, that freshness can make all the difference when you finally open it. Even static cling isn't a minor issue. In dry blackout conditions, static can damage electronics or cause minor shocks around gas stoves or generators. Rubbing a sheet across key surfaces can help neutralize that risk fast. Lightweight, compact, and dirt cheap, these small sheets serve hygiene, pest control, and morale with zero downside. The smartest survival tools aren't always high-tech, they're hidden in plain sight. If you're building your crisis kit the smart way, hit that subscribe button now. Because it's the little things that'll matter most when the system goes silent. Number 10. Plastic waterproof table cover. At first glance, it's just a picnic accessory. But in a survival scenario, a plastic waterproof table cover can be one of the most underrated tools in your emergency stash. Imagine your roof starts leaking after a storm. No tarp? No problem. A thick plastic table cover can be cut, stretched, and used to redirect or block water. It's flexible, foldable, and highly resistant to both moisture and tearing, ideal for patching windows, doors, or covering gear during sudden rain. Need a clean surface to prep food or lay out supplies in muddy conditions? This cover becomes your instant sanitation zone. Lay it on the ground, over a rough table, or even use it as a food-safe barrier during medical emergencies. And here's where it gets tactical. Plastic table covers can be used as insulation. Fold them over windows to help trap warm air, wrap cold items to keep them chilled longer, or layer them beneath sleeping bags to create a moisture barrier between you and the cold, damp ground. In prolonged outages, they can also act as privacy dividers, temporary shelter walls, or windbreakers when hung between trees or poles. Their size and low weight make them ideal for bug-out bags, easy to carry, fast to deploy. They even work for water collection. Hang it at an angle during rainfall, place a bucket beneath, and now you're harvesting water without a gutter system. Never underestimate the power of cheap, multi-use tools. In a world running on fragile systems and false comfort, most people never think twice about the simple items scattered across their homes. But as you've just seen, when the trucks stop rolling and the lights go out, it won't be the fancy gear that saves you. It'll be the everyday things you almost threw away. Fabric sheets, crates, toothpaste tablets, table covers. These aren't luxuries. They're lifelines in disguise. And the people who take them seriously today are the ones who'll still be standing tomorrow. So ask yourself, will you be one of them? Because when the blackout hits or the imports stop, it won't be about who had the most gear. It'll be about who prepared smarter. If this video opened your eyes to what really matters, hit that like button to support the channel. And if you want to stay 2 steps ahead, always subscribe now and join a growing tribe of people who refuse to be caught off guard. Your survival doesn't begin then, it begins right now.